Kartik,
Yes, Shubham.
the event is live now. We have also posted creative there.
Here also, can you put the creator in the meantime?
Yeah, just a second. Is it visible now, Kartik?
Yes. When ma'am comes, you can remove it.
Yeah, sure. I'll do that.
Let us know when to start.
We are ready, Isha. Namaste. Ma'am, are you able to hear me fine?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Perfect, ma'am. You are also fine. So, with your due permission, we will start in half a minute exactly.
Okay. This needs to be put on a charger. Put this on.
We'll start. Good afternoon, everyone. Namaste. A warm welcome to this session on behalf of the entire IMA family. We are so pleased and honored to have today with us the Honorable Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry, Dr. Kiran Bedi. It's an extreme privilege for us, ma'am, that you have spared your valuable time with us, and we couldn't be more than happier than this. The introduction for ma'am in itself is going to take more than an hour, we know. So
No,
to cut down on the time, ma'am, with your kind permission, what I'll do is I have a small video. I want to quickly share it with you. And I also want to tell everybody that ma'am's birthday was on 9th of June. So we have caught her on the right time. It's a birthday week. Ma'am, please also accept our heartfelt wishes from everyone here for your birthday, and we pray for your long life. So I'm going to quickly show you this video, which has been actually developed by ma'am's team, led by Isha Arora. And I can also quickly, in the meantime, thank her entire team, Kalivardan, Joseph, who have behind the scenes really helped us in making this session happen.
You're using this.
And they have been more than kind.
You're using this, is it?
Yes, Daughter of India. And I personally like it a lot. And I'm sure all our audience will like it as well. So I'm playing it, ma'am, with your permission. So I can truly, reminiscence your entire journey while growing up, ma'am. And I'm sure everyone in the audience felt really inspirational to watch your journey. And we all relate. I think a common middle class person in the in our country really relates to your journey. And we all had our parents really tell us and push us that, become something like this. So it's an honor to have you with us, ma'am, and a very warm welcome. And ma'am, your journey and your story needs no introduction. Everybody is well aware of, well documented. There are books, movies, short stories, documentaries available. And I think one common strand which I have seen in your story is that whichever department, whichever job role, function you have gone, you have actually, bended sideways and transformed it completely. So whether it was police department, whether it was prison reforms, whether it was politics, and now even when you're being when you're a governor, and pardon me, but many people in our country used to think that governor is like a semi-retirement, right? If you just need to go there, sit in your kursi, do ribbon cutting, and it's a nice way to ease into a retirement. You have completely twisted it on its head, and people are now getting a run for their money. Yeah, governor needs to do all this stuff. It's not that easy. And in corporate, because many of our audience is also from corporate, there is a saying that the titles don't define the job, right, or the person, but the person defines the title. And I think your story is a testament to that proverb, that actually you can toss around a title and make it something more meaningful and profound. I want to tell all our viewers that ma'am has got more than 15 million social media followers. She is the most approachable, accessible political leader I've seen in this country. I can say it hand on heart. Even with this session, all it took was just to request ma'am, and she so nicely agreed. And I really feel proud that we are living in this new age India. Ma'am, I want to know from you that, you've done this time and again, and you are doing this tirelessly, right? Just getting into a particular role or a function and completely changing its meaning, right? Fundamentally. What drives you? What motivates you? And I want you to share with our young achievers who are also joining us from all around the country, that how can you actually garner up strength and actually dare to not be bogged down by stereotypes, and actually do what your heart says and do the right thing.
First of all, thank you, Kartik, for this surprise introduction. I thought Isha Arora had made this clip, whatever, only for me. But I didn't know it's going to you. I'm going to ask her why she did it. I'm going to ask her how can she do it? Why did she do it? But it's very interesting to see how the face keeps changing in one's life. So nothing's permanent. Even my today's face is going to change tomorrow. It only drives home one message, while you do not know, but you're constantly changing within and out with the outside. So I guess this is the purpose. I think he's probably saying the same thing. You are not anywhere for long.
Right.
You're not anywhere for long. Question is, do you want to drag your feet? Want to just sit idle, or make the change? Meet the purpose of place. I know Julio Ribeiro, a very famous IPS officer. He's also he's totally a legend. He was a officer of tremendous grit and courage. And he led the Punjab police at the time of absolutely very big challenge of terrorism those days. He was posted there, and he said, and he started from day one, moment one. And somebody asked him, what's making you do this? He said, I'm a man in a hurry. I'm a man in a hurry. So that's what I mean. I think wherever we are, you're not for long. You have a choice: buy time, or make the difference. I think that's been my instinctive way of is to be there for a reason and make the difference.
No, well said. I mean, it's a tagline we're gonna use, to be in a hurry and actually do it, and not just see the life pass by. Ma'am, you have done a lot of initiatives. We keep following you on social media, and you are so active. And I see you actually doing surprise audits and actually really surprising some of the administrators while they're on the job. And, how do you think in the new age, where everybody is living in the age of social media, everybody is so well informed and aware, how do you see the process of engagement in the life of a public servant like yourself, how is the life changing, right? It was a time 20 years back when you would sit in your closed doors, do a policy decision, and just do a press conference, and that's it. Nobody is going to access you. But now people can access you over social media. I'm so sure you get all kinds of mixed messages. Some strong opposition you might also get, right? And it's not always the nice lovey-dovey messages, I'm sure. So how do you think the process of engaging with the public, taking feedback on the policies, engaging other stakeholders like local administrators from where you sit, how do you see that process getting changed in current times?
You see, every job in public administration or even in private sector, everywhere, you are yourself, your director of Agnito. Agnito, how do you call it? Ignitio?
Ignitio, ma'am. It's a Latin
Agnitio.
word, it means knowledge.
So you're yourself director Agnitio. Understand you have a purpose. You were given the key areas of work. KR. What you given?
KR.
Key areas
KR,
of responsibility.
right.
KR. So are we. We are not given anything in writing. We are just posted. We in the government just said so-and-so posted so-and-so. Posted as Lieutenant Governor Puducherry with till further orders. So the question is, what am I here for? I have to define my own position. I have the position through law. I have the position through rules. I have the position through standing orders, etc. Now, am I going to be implementing them? And since it's a public life, why should I not keep the initiative of connecting with the people rather than people guessing me? Why should I leave people guessing at my work where I want them to be associated with me? So social media is one more remarkable communication tool by which a public servant can keep his or her people. I'm not a constituency. The politician has a constituency. For me, it's the entire union territory as a place to serve. See, Puducherry may be divided into 30 constituencies. We have 30 MLAs.
Right.
But for me, it's all one. And with all its 14 to 18 lakhs of population, floating, etc., and floating is double. When it's normal time, it would have been 14 into 14. Question here is, I as a Lieutenant Governor, do I cocoon myself and shut the door of Raj Niwas and say, it's okay? I have to choose. People will otherwise keep guessing what the Lieutenant Governor is doing. Why is she doing? How is she deciding? What is she deciding? No, we decided by a conscious choice that Raj Niwas will be a people Niwas. We chose because it's people. It's not an isolated institution. It's for a purpose. So the first thing, important thing is you define the purpose of your assignment and your responsibility. And one of the methods of achieving that purpose is making yourself accessible and purposeful and meeting. So that's why the morning rounds, as you mentioned, I go out. Mm-hmm. What is it? It's to see, it's to feel, it's to connect, it's to communicate, it's to understand and identify what more one can do.
Absolutely. And in fact, ma'am, you mentioned a very interesting point around KRAs and KPIs, which I'm sure many of our, an average person working in a company would truly relate to and might be smiling as you mentioned these terms. I've never seen it coming out from a political leader. But do you think there is also a time now to document some of those things, to actually have progress cards properly released in the public, so everyone can see that this was the planned, not the numbers which certain ministries come out with, but even at your level, do you think there is a need to document some of those progress by department, by function, and make it completely available for public to access, to counter, to react on it? And I also like your statement that this has to be like a Raj Niwas has to be a public place. Do you also think the name sounds very colonial, Raj Niwas? Maybe in the future, do you think the name also needs to be adapted to Janta Niwas? I don't know if for lack of a better word, but do you think public should also get some documentation of these KPIs and KRAs and actually see that the leader is actually chasing a certain goal and can actually track like we do in corporate life? Do you see, or is it too early a stage we are talking about to have that sort of environment in your area of work?
I think when the websites were born, it was exactly for that purpose. Every department has a website. Now it depends on whether you use it as a billboard or you make it dynamic. So you can go back websites many years ago. I remember I was one of the first pioneers. A friend of mine called Deepak Chandwani connected with me. He had a value web business in Lajpat Nagar market. And he approached me 20 years ago and said, ma'am, I want to do your website. And I said, how? Why? He said, no, he wanted it. Can you believe it? I had a personal website called kiranbedi.com more than 20 years ago. Everything of my work is documented on that website. The police work, the prisons work, everything, my NGO work is all documented on my website. So I have been a website student ever since the websites start to pick up. What is website for? Is to connect you with people. So that if you're wanting to know more, go to my website and ask me questions as you want. So many times when I'm asked a question, I'm interviewed by the students. And when the moment they start asking questions, I ask them, what kind of research have you done? Otherwise, why haven't you done research? So I send them back. I said, no, you do your research, because research is a good habit. So websites, etc., are a place of documentation. But you'll be happy to know, on the birthday of mine, my two foundations, the India Vision Foundation and the Navjyoti India Foundation, they both came together to gift me a virtual present. And they gifted me a virtual present.
Demonstration learning.
Demonstrative learning. And what is demonstrative learning? It's nothing but learning from others' learnings. It's a demonstration of good practices. And on demonstrative learning, there's a section which we got called the Hive. In the Hive, there are two sections. All good practices practically done by my two foundations is on site. And all the good practices which we followed at Rajnivas is on site. So you can learn. That's why it's called demonstrative learning, learning through demonstration. So theory, it's a theory you can go back to, but here is practically lived. So I think that documentation is very, very important. This film which you've shown would not have been easily available if I had not documented all this documentation. So documentation is a very important habit, but particularly for government departments elsewhere, it's institutional memory. Because as I said, when we started this conversation, we are here for a while. We are here temporarily. We have to move on. So what leaves behind is documentation, is institutionalization of one's work.
So well said, ma'am. A lot of people also, ask me, and when they knew this session is going to come, many of them keep sending me questions. So many people who are working somewhere, right? They are meaningfully employed, or they are working for themselves. They have a certain skill, right? And they believe that in some way they could contribute to nation building, but they may not have a lot of time to formally volunteer. Do you think there is a merit in creating a structure for people like these to get associated with public initiatives, with government initiatives, and use their skill on a as needed basis? Do you think one could structure and formalize such an organization?
The nation building begins with you. Nation building begins with every Indian, child, youth, or a senior citizen. Every Indian. First of all, he or she must build himself, make himself skilled and capable, and realize one's potential. Moment you realize one's potential, you want to give more. First of all, build yourself. Build a better you. Before you build a better other, build a better you. And when you build a better you, you're a better leader. You're a better person. When you're a better person, you are building a better environment around you. Why do we look for nation building outside? Nation building begins with individual. Every IAS, every IPS, every public servant, every corporate leader, every workman, every student, every youth is a nation builder in his or her own capacity. The question is, he looks for another NGO or another institution or another office. He doesn't begin with himself. If it's a youth, he does better academics. If it's a corporate leader, he leads his corporation better. If it's a workman, he produces a better quality of product. If it's a woman, she realizes her own strengths and potential. Tell me, is nation building outside you? It's within you first. Build a better you before you build you will then build a better us. Then you will build a better we. But rather than I'm waiting for an opportunity to build the nation, you are not understanding the strength is with you. Energy is within you. You have to realize the potential. And then expand it. Then it's called expansion of your energy. But first you must realize you have it within you. Then you expand. When you expand, you are sharing energy and you're building the nation.
Right. Very well said, ma'am. I mean, the point is for our audience that do not wait for some golden opportunity to come in, that government will come with some program, they'll invite proposals, then you will apply. But just start with yourself and do the best at what you are. And obviously, as you expand, ma'am is saying, the opportunities would come. Ma'am, I've also been very closely watching a lot of young
Opportunities
people
don't
you
come.
interact with.
Opportunities, Kartik, opportunities don't come. Opportunities you create by doing. You create opportunities.
Right.
They just don't fall into your lap. You create them by some good action and by some good thought. You have invited it. You've created it. It's called the secret of synchronicity. You are getting what you're looking for, what you're desiring, what you're really aspiring, and you're striving. You get it, but you don't understand the mystery. But actually, it is your own thought which has attracted an opportunity. So you are not waiting for an opportunity from outside. Create an opportunity from within every day.
Very well said, ma'am. Ma'am, I was saying that I have also watched that you interact with a lot of young kids, and I saw this interesting video in which a young child had produced a sanitizing machine where you just press on, and I saw how you installed it at Raj Bhavan. A lot of young children, a lot of young startups, who also are associated with us. They also, again, the point would be similar that, what's the opportunity for them? I know you invite a lot of them to work collaboratively, you reach out to them, but at a formal level, how do you think some of the young children who have innovative ideas, or these young startups coming out of colleges, what are the possibilities that we can tap them to solve some of the big problems, right? Like UN has these SDGs, and similarly we have also our goals. Niti Aayog is coming up with a lot of initiatives. What are the ways in which we can engage the young children and also some of these startups, so that they don't solve problems of the West, or problems for a very niche audience, but they are big problems to be solved in India? How can we sort of inspire them and motivate them to solve these problems?
Kartik, a few months ago, Raj Nivas hosted a science exhibition. A few months ago. That's what I said, Raj Nivas is a people Nivas, because we were holding cultural events, science exhibitions. So one of them was science exhibition. We tapped the young scientists of Puducherry, and we did a series of them. Let me tell you, every exhibition display was a startup by itself. They had solutions on environment, on agriculture, on waste management, on drones. They got science, they got technology, they got agriculture, they had food. Every board of theirs, every desk literally was a startup. They were like young entrepreneurs themselves. All they now needed was a little continuing to nutrition that opportunity, that creativity, to keep building and link them with startups. That's where you have to tap these youngsters. So don't leave it as an exhibition. All your these exhibitions have a reason, is to tap young talent and encourage. And then they had already formed partnerships. Some of them were not alone. They were a group of 4 girls, 2 boys and 2 girls, etc. They were boys and girls of a particular class. They'd come together and created a little experiment of their own. They were fantastic. Solar energy was so brilliant. So they were everything who had an answer. They were startups themselves.
So we didn't know about this. So I mean, this is something which I want to share with my audience members as well, who have reached out to me with these questions, that you need to also look out and search what's happening, right? Because some of these opportunities may not come knocking on your door. As ma'am said, you have to seize them. Look around when these exhibitions are happening. Be seen there. Be visible, and actually take initiative to showcase your
online. Let the AIMA do online exhibitions. Go ahead, you do online exhibitions, you'll get flood of ideas. In fact, children might get an opportunity to be on the stage to offer, and startups can pick up. Why not? Do child exhibitions. These are the young budding entrepreneurs who the age of 16, 17, 15, 14. I'm telling you, do these online exhibitions. Now that you physically, at the moment for some time, these are suspended activities for social distancing issues, for COVID, do these online. Encourage them, and you can have a focus. You can have a focus, agriculture. You can have agriculture. You can have solar. You can do waste management, right? You can have food security issues. You can have so many interesting ideas. Designing, they were fantastic. So you can do all India Management Association can steer a young startup. It's like an exhibition, a series, and you will see children compiling, and you can have literally a virtual exhibition, going for virtual exhibition.
That's a very good idea, ma'am. I'm going to make actually note of it, and we will take that initiative. Absolutely. And in fact, ma'am, closely related to some of these startups and these technologies, like, I closely follow artificial intelligence. That's my focus area. Similarly, Internet of Things, blockchain, you would have, heard of these technologies now becoming very mainstream. Niti Aayog is focusing a lot on national AI web portal was also launched last week, as you might be aware of. Where do you see some of these technologies? Like in the West, we see AI is used in governance, right? Blockchain is used in creating a distributor ledger technology to automate land records, to remove bureaucracy, to increase transparency in the process. And smart cities, I'm sure you've heard of, we're using sensors and IoTs, automatic garbage bins, in which the allocation between wet waste, dry waste, all is done automatically. Where do you see our country using some of these new age technologies? Do you think we're still very far off, or do you actually see some of these things being implemented around you, or even in Puducherry? Do you have any interesting experiences to share with us where, whether you or led by your inspiration, people have come together and started using some of these new age technologies to transform public infrastructure?
These are right there, wherever you are. Prime Minister said, go vocal on local. These children are local. These children are local. All they need to be vocal. And who makes it vocal? It's their teachers, their schools, their panchayats, the industries around them, their bureaucrats, the handholders. This is what you need. The Department of Education. They can make them vocal of local. And these are local technologies. So why can't they be applied in the villages themselves? So we can do it and start in a local way with local resources. Why not? Why wait for a multinational? Why wait for a big company to come in? They can have, this is what is called partnership with the industry around them. If whatever industries, every district has a industries wing, has a section, there is an area, why can't that industries association pick up these young budding children, bring them as young entrepreneurs and develop their technology, help them develop technology. And technologies, even better waste management is a technology. Today, waste management is the biggest challenge. We have not found one good functioning technology known to be. But every village, every street, every RWA has tons of garbage. It can be converted into manure and it becomes green gold, and it can be got back to land, back to making it into green gold, back to the enriching the soil. What I'm saying is, I'm only talking something where you need no money. But today, with Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign and going vocal over local, I think we must pick up our local entrepreneurs and then catapult them through use of technology and let it be upscaled over a period. Why should we only begin at the top? Why can't we gradually climb up?
Oh, that's a very insightful thought, actually. That, sometimes people are actually waiting for that, ultimate point that, only when so I see that a lot in startups, who are associated with us, that only when I raise a certain level of funding, only when I raise at a certain level, then only they think things would be serious. But as to your point, I mean, you just need to start somewhere and incrementally grow. No need to do a big bang sort of implementation. So that's commendable. In fact, I'm going to twist the discussion a little, ma'am. A lot of female followers of you, are writing to me that, whether we're talking about entrepreneurship or we're talking about leadership in public life or in general in our country, we all are aware of the challenges which women had to face over the last 50, 60 years post-independence. But now, people like yourself have led the way that there is no glass ceiling technically, and it's possible to break all those shackles and stereotypes which we all generally tend to associate. But many of your followers are asking me that does it all because they've all seen your story externally and it all looks very inspiring on TV, on videos, but they want to take inspiration from you, that as a fellow woman, I'm sure you would have faced a lot of challenges when you were trying to be the first in many of those stereotypes. What kind of challenges you faced? You want to share a few of them to inspire and encourage them, and also tell them probably that, when you, or maybe one or two instances where you almost thought that, no, it's not going to cut it. We all feel at some point in time, oh, this is too hard. Maybe, I'll not be able to do that. Did you have those moments? I'm sure there were certain moments in which you really started to self-doubt. It happens to the best of us. Were there some moments like that? And how did you overcome them? Do you want to share some inspiration with us?
When you have a self-doubt, go for a long walk. It clears your thought. Listen to some very good music. Read a book. Cuddle yourself in the bed. Get into the nature. Do something which, watch a nice movie, an inspirational biography. So if you want, you need to know where do you plug in. You need to have your charging plug points. I have mine. Like my morning workout is a plug point. So morning yoga is a plug point. So morning being with nature is a plug point. Doing some little videos of birds, which are all around Rajnivas, are plug points. And then decision-making, believe me, is a plug point. If I'm confronted with an issue and if I can resolve it and I do take a decision and resolve an issue and I feel it's made the difference, for me, it's a charge point. So I seek out. So you need to know where you draw your energy from. Every one of us have energy flows. One needs to know where does it flow best. It's not being in company is a plug point for me. In fact, silence is a plug point. Being with myself is a plug point. So I know my plug point. Somebody, for some, cooking would be a plug point. Go and do it. Cleaning out the house is a plug point. Do that. You need to know yourself. What are your energy sources? Which charges you?
It's very inspiring. Ma'am, now I'm gonna, because many of my viewers are asking, I'm gonna divert your attention and seek your inputs on the most hot topic of now, which is COVID. And I'm sure you get asked hosts of questions and inputs around, what it's gonna be. And a lot of our audience members, ma'am, they come from MSMEs. Many of them come from tier 2, tier 3 towns. And the way I hear from the conversations with them is a lot of uncertainty. So a lot of people say that if it's a risk, they can manage. But many of them fail to grapple with the situation, that they feel that it's beyond risk. It's just pure uncertainty. And they don't even know if they should continue what they're doing, or is it a time for a fundamental shift, or is it a time to stay low and just tag along with what you are doing in life, or is it actually a time to literally put the proverbial reboot button and actually do something fundamentally big? And many people come up to us and have those dilemmas, and many of them believe that you probably have the answer, because the way I see you is from your public life. Apart from that, you're also a very inspirational leader, and many of us would like to hear from you that what's your how has it affected you as a person individually, how as a public figure it's affecting you. And I'm sure so many people reach out to you for help and support and guidance and counseling. What's your message to them, that how to sort of manage the current crisis?
Well, this is one event in our life which has affected everybody equally. Everybody equally. It spared nobody. It spared nobody. High, rich or poor, young or old, north or south, west or east. It spared nobody. Government servant or private. So don't you feel you're alone? It's affected everybody in one form or the other. Therefore, let's understand that we are now in a world of virtual transition, virtual change. So why keep lamenting in it? It's not happened to you or me alone. It's affected us according to wherever we were. It's like an earthquake. If somebody was in Bhuj at that time, it got affected. But this is one earthquake which affected all in their own way. It's shaken us all in our own way, whether it's a public servant or it's otherwise. Look what's happening. Look at the way the doctors are fighting. Look, did you ever expect warriors in white be struggling like this and getting affected themselves also equally? Did they? But that's what medicine is all about, taking these risks. Did the police ever in khaki ever imagine that they would be serving like this on social distancing, the civil supplies distribution, etc., or trying to be only in a mask, not be able to speak? Everybody's gone through a transition, but some have been hit very badly and some later. I think the answer is only accept this reality, accept it as it is, and start looking and start re-auditing what do you have, where do you begin from. I think we all need to take stock of what do we have. What are my skills? What are my securities? What are my resources? What are my strengths? What are my support systems? Where I can begin now from here? What is the government which is offering? What are the schemes which are coming? What can my association give me? Right, wherever I am. Once you have understood, so it's a time for dissection of that means it's a time for self-analysis, self-preservation first. I think one message is very clearly that before wealth, it is health. Earlier, we were looking for wealth at the cost of health. Now it will be at any cost, health comes first, wealth follows. I think this one big message to the rest of the world is my health comes first. Then comes wealth. But then comes how much wealth? Am I going to sacrifice my health to amass wealth? Or am I going to live my health to enjoy wealth? I think we need to first answer everybody in the world is my health for enjoyment of wealth, or is it my health at the cost of wealth? Or how much, what is it going to be the cost? So I think that's important to first get that one common message right. Now, health is not just about physical. Health is about your mental health, your attitudes, your spiritual health, your emotional health. Your physical health is what you and I see. But what's my emotional status? What's my spiritual status? Because this is resilience. Emotional health and your spiritual health is resilience, is the resolve, and your willpower, it's internal, which is only known to you. Unless you develop that as well, how will you deal with this crisis of a situation? And then look at what's physically around me and what can I do with it. Then look at your immediate 2 years, because I think this is going to impact us at least for 2 years. I believe this is going to last at least 2 years. It phase out over a period. But then plan for next 2 years and then plan for the next 10 years. Where do you want to see yourself next 10 years? And where do you see now in the next 2 years? You have to rework your resources and your skill and who can you be partner with. It's also time for collaborations rather than competition. So rather than getting to be competitive, and also look for what is, I believe today's, when I was reading the newspapers this morning, I was reading certain products have skyrocketed, demand for them have skyrocketed. Health, nutrition, essentials of groceries, household stuff, all that essentials has skyrocketed. Only people are trying to save money when they can postpone something. How long will they still postpone? Once they start making money again, whilst they start generating money again, because some like even scooter buying has increased now because people are going back to individual transport. So it's getting to be back to after the lockdown. On one hand, we have a health challenge going on still. On the other hand, the economy is coming back, means production is coming back, consumption is coming back. Agriculture is a very big resource. If any one of us has any land, why are you running away? Go and use the land. Use the land the best you can. It's your best security. You can make it productive if you had abandoned it. So I think we can all look at whoever we are, wherever we are, whatever we have, with our emotional, mental, spiritual health intact. So we just don't look at external health. Look at totality of health, holistic health, and then find your own solutions for the next 2 years. And then where will you be Where do you want to go next 10 years? But life is very uncertain. So what happens 10 years out, nobody knows. All you can do is one day at a time. As it's very said,
Right.
leaders who manage, I read somewhere, leaders who manage the day-to-day and lead with the vision will emerge from the crisis with companies that are stronger and more resilient than they were ever before. So leaders who manage the day-to-day, and lead with the vision will emerge from this crisis with companies that are stronger and more resilient than they were even before. So manage first day-to-day with the vision. Have a limited vision, immediate to survive and recover, and then have a long-term vision with a sense of resilience. And resilience doesn't come without your mental attitudes and strength. And that's why we are all the time talking about yoga. We're all the time talking about emotional quotients, spiritual quotient. So these are helpful techniques. Fitness, daily doing a fitness, even if you're home, how do you find the spiritual singing, spiritual satsangs, how can you group good reading? I think you need to nutrition your mind before your body responds to you.
Fair enough. Ma'am, if you mentioned about attitudes, and a lot of people are asking that, and you have been involved at a time when seat belts and helmets were not a norm in the country, and then they became a norm. And similarly, we are at that cusp where people are thinking that whether social distancing, wearing a mask, and all those compliances, how hard do you think at scale would it be to implement some of these?
What's the time now? 5:40. Yeah, carry on. Sorry,
Kartik. So just last question. I know we are short on time. Last two questions. So one is, do you think implementation of social distancing, mask, and all these compliances, how practical and difficult do you think in a country like India it is? How hard do you think to implement some of these changes would be?
Why should it not be? Why should it not be? Because this is what mutual health is. What is this mask? What is this mask? It absolutely, let's wear it and demonstrate what's happening. Why should I wear it at the current stage? It's because if I sneeze, it doesn't impact you. If I cough, it doesn't affect you. That means I'm saving you from any contamination, right? Or bad breath, because I know when I used to work with many people on my open house, I could smell their bad breath. Moment they open their mouth is bad breath. That's impacting. But with this, you are actually preserving the health of the person you're dealing with. But because you are wearing it, you are also not infecting me. At the moment, the situation so demands it. So be it. So be it. Why don't we accept this as a reality? And I've been saying, had we been wearing this mask from the moment it was announced by the systems, we wouldn't have had this mutual any spread, because I would have number two, my hand sanitation, and then no spitting around, because when I spit, I'm leaving a lot of germs and a bimari there. So why can't I be socially responsible? It's a time for social responsibility. Why can't we be socially responsible? It's in my interest. Let me be selfish, because I can demand it from you. You wear it. You can demand it from me. I wear it. Why can't you demand it from me? Because your health is vulnerable. If I infect you, and then I keep my hands washed, and also that I keep a reasonable distance, because this demands a distance. I think we need to not worry about this. It's a need of the hour. I remember I'm a person from Amritsar. When we used to have Indo-Pakistan war, at that time I was a student in school there. We used to have the siren. We had no lights on, not even a candle at night. Not even a candle. We used to get into the trenches and wait for the siren to be over, so the saber jets have flown over. There are norms and rules and regulations of every stage of your life. So be it. You've got to be responsible citizens.
Right. Ma'am, just the last question in the interest of time. I know you're short on time. What do you think is the model for governance in the new age India? Because we know the millennials, which contribute a large population, a large percentage of our population, they want things different, right? They believe in hyper-local distributed leadership. They believe more in data. They believe in more in engagement, like we were talking about at the start of the conversation. They have different parameters of of electing and selecting their political leaders. They have different expectations of engagement with them. What do you think is going to be the model of governance for these kind of millennials? And what is your message for future leaders? Then how they can adapt and train themselves to be more relevant in the future? Otherwise, there is a possibility that in next 5 to 10 years, many of our leaders would not be considered relevant by these millennials. So, what's your parting message for us? That's
I would say very briefly, what you expect of others, first do it yourself. Whatever you want from others, you want honesty from others, please live honestly. You want hygiene from others, please be hygienic yourself. You want responsible behavior from others, you exercise. Then you are you. You have everybody else like you, behaving at least as a better nation. That's how Japan rebuilt itself, where everybody delivered. Even if they wanted to go on a strike, they would have a band and said, we're not going to miss the work. But that is how they rebuilt Japan. They rebuilt Japan. We have examples and examples of this country, of this world. So we want everything from others. What about you? Begin with yourself. So what you are asking, whatever you are asking, is external. I would rather internalize it and ask myself, am I a responsible leader? Am I a responsible citizen? Am I a responsible father? Am I a responsible husband? Am I a responsible mother? Am I a responsible employee? Am I a responsible public servant? Am I fulfilling my duties fully, giving to that play, whatever is before me, my full attention, and so that I can make the difference and give it all. Once I do that, you will get these answers because they will be there. You will be the answer.
Well, I love that statement. So you are the answer. So all of the people who have been asking me questions, my answer is that you are the answer. Find answers, don't pose problems.
So you will become we. You will become we are the answer. You will become
exactly.
we.
Right. No, it's very inspiring always to hear from you, ma'am. And I know you have a tight schedule, and we really, really appreciate you taking out time. And we are so grateful for you to spend this evening with us. And with this, I also thank our audience who have joined in for this conversation. And again, a deep, heartfelt gratitude to you, ma'am, Honorable Governor, for spending time with us. And we seek your blessings and guidance.
So we can go from you to we to us.
Right.
You to we to us.
To us.
Thank
right.
you.
What a lovely move. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.